Joining us now on set, Rory Culkin. Rory, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's a really interesting career that you're sort of carving out for yourself right now because you come from a family that could sort of jump into the Hollywood pool very easily, but both you and your brother Kieran have seemed to focus in New York filmmaking and New York independent filmmakers. I mean, your first start was with Kenneth Lonergan and You Can Count on Me, which is one of my favorite films. I absolutely love that film and his film Margaret, which Kieran was in as well, right?
Yeah.
So what prompted you guys to sort of, did you see what happened to your older brother Macaulay and decide that this world was more a sort of artistic venture that you'd rather be a part of?
I mean, it just sort of happens naturally. You know, I was fortunate enough to, you know, be able to pick and choose. You know, I don't want to audition for this because I can't relate to this, or you know, at a young age. So it just sort of happens this way.
And it was never a question of like, I want to do this because I want success and fame. I want to do this because it's something that I want to do.
Yeah, it's something that I think I can do or I can learn from. So yeah.
Where did you, was that advice that you got early on from members of your family who had sort of navigated their way a little bit? It was like at a certain point, only do the things that you want to do. Don't get stuck doing Richie Rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I sort of.
Well, you did actually do Richie Rich.
I did. I was 4, but yeah. But no, I sort of grew up in this family, like you said, and so there was I was never really jaded by, oh my God, this is a movie script in my house. You know what I mean? It's just a story, and you know, I may or may not like it. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. Not being jaded by a movie script, not being jaded by, or not jaded, but not being jaded, but not being sort of overwhelmed because someone is sending you a script or because an agent is calling you. Mm-hmm. You have this thing that you can see is normal for you, whereas someone else who's hitting the business for the first time is going to be like, "Thank you, let me do this movie, let me do this project."
But then on the flip side, books weren't very interesting because this isn't going to be made into a movie. That's weird. You know what I mean? I grew up reading scripts. You know?
Right, absolutely. Do you feel like you've been too choosy at this point, and it's bitten you? Like, have you missed any roles that you wish you could have gotten?
Yeah, actually, looking back, I was, you know, after seeing the final product, like, wow, that was great. I did not envision that. I didn't.
Like what?
I don't know if I want to say certain things because, you know, those actors that ended up doing it were, you know, killed it and are great. So,
right.
So, but you know.
Like we could have seen you in Hunger Games or something.
Not quite, but yeah.
Let's talk about this performance, how you went about it, what sort of research you did beforehand.
Well, you know, Lou Howe, the writer-director, we went to a place called the Fountain House. It's a community center for young people with mental illness. And just talked to some of the people there. You know, I wanted to avoid getting too deep into the medical aspect of it. You know, I just wanted more firsthand accounts of people who have been through similar things. And yeah, I mean, because my character, Gabriel, doesn't really believe in all that stuff. You know, he doesn't think this is real, you know. So.
It's interesting because he is trying to navigate, in the short period that we see him in, he is trying to navigate what most people take for granted in their daily life, which is dealing with your parents, dealing with what you want to be when you get older, dealing with, at the same time, being a 19, 20-year-old man who doesn't want to be babied by his mother anymore. Mm-hmm. But it's a completely different environment for him because he is struggling with mental illness. Mm-hmm. Was that something that you were thinking about?
Yeah. You know, the first time I met with Lou, we had a long discussion about how scary the world is and how people who aren't paranoid they're the crazy ones because this is, you know, life is hard, life is scary, you know, and I think Gabriel has every reason to be, you know, scared about life.
Yeah, I find life to be an endless series of bleak moments with every now and then a moment of comedy and hilarity. But for the most part, it's just a series of letdowns.
Absolutely.
What are you most paranoid about?
I don't know. We were talking about space and how we're just on this tiny little rock, just floating through darkness, and how terrifying that is, and how nobody's looking up and talking about it. You know, everyone's just going to work, and guys, like, this is amazing. You know, take a second, look around. This is amazing. This is terrifying.
Yeah,
you know?
Just the moment-to-moment recognition of what it is to be human.
Yeah, I mean, Gabriel thinks his only problem is he thinks too much. You know,
mm-hmm.
He thinks more than other people, and for some reason they think that's a problem.
He walks into a room, you can hear the ovulating. It doesn't stop.
We had him here.
You did?
Yes, we had him on.
He was handsome, right?
He was very handsome.
He's got that hair. He's got that whole thing.